What makes a monster and what makes a man is a song that I've been singing in my head every time I start getting ready to watch Lovecraft Country. It's a horror, fantasy, sometimes current affairs TV show brought to us by HBO. And the executive producers are people you might know, just J.J. Abrams and Jordan Peele. But who the show really introduced me to is some badass chick named Misha Green, who is the showrunner, the storyteller, and developer, and what she did is something magnificent. I don't think it's not just a TV show anymore, but it was a movement, it was an awakening, and it was a powerful one too, considering I'm not even an American citizen and I live like thousands of miles away, or kilometers, how we're used to. The show is scary, it's intense, it's funny, it's inspiring, and none of the cast is wasted. And I'm only talking about the first episode. I think I'm just gonna do like a episode per episode breakdown just to talk about how it's like compared to the book, but for now, this is the season review for Lovecraft Country. Hey guys, my name is Jen and you're watching The Screening Lady. So, after Game of Thrones, I guess like everyone else, we were really trying to fill in the void that was left of Monday or Sunday, your time, whatever place in the world you are. But whatever show it is that the HBO was giving us, sometimes they were hits, sometimes they were misses. But when I found out that they were doing Lovecraft Country, I was really excited and I was expecting myself to be scared. I never really read the books. I do know of him through the references that the authors that I've been reading. But the only general knowledge I have of Lovecraft was Cthulhu and Arkham Horror, which is a board game that I've played with my friends before. So anyway, speaking of Lovecraft Country, the show starts with Atticus Freeman, the main character of the show, or at least the main character we've been led to believe at first. He is a soldier, and this takes place in the Korean War, where we see him go through the trenches, and it's first treated in like an old timey-wimey type of film noir filter, and then so it's black and white, and then once he goes up the trenches, it's just suddenly like a burst of colors. But it's not just colors here. We're talking about all of a sudden it's a battlefield of, you know, like War of the Worlds, alien invasion type of scene. And we see Jamie Chung, who is supposedly like an alien princess, come down from one of the ships, and they are saved by Jackie Robinson, who I am so happy I recognize the number 42, because at least I know that part. But so, and of course we see Cthulhu immediately, and all this happens in like the first 20 seconds of the show. I'm like, okay, this is gonna be awesome, this is gonna be a ride. So after that, what happens is pure fiction awesomeness 20 seconds in, and then 25 seconds later Atticus wakes up. Turns out it was all just a dream. He wakes up in the back of a segregated bus where, you know, all the white folks get to be seated in front, and this bus breaks down. Atticus and this other black woman had to walk the rest of the way to get to their destination, while the white folks was able to get another ride home, or another ride to whatever destination they were going. But immediately we are given like a stark comparison from like a scary fiction world to a scary real world. And that whole busing, it's not even like the worst thing to happen in this episode, the first episode. We are also treated with like the most intense car scene, and happens to be like the slowest car scene ever. It's something that I've never known of. Turns out if you're in a sundown county, and it's just really unbelievable, but like if you are a black person in a sundown county, a policeman can basically kill you for just being black, and it's part of the law. I can't even say it properly because it just disturbs me every time I get to say it out loud. But you know, these are the things that Lovecraft Country exposed me to. And what it is while you're shown these harsh moments the characters have to go through, at the same time you're like, okay, I gotta see some monsters now. Please give me some monsters to kick these people's asses. And first episode gave us that. And also, consequently, we're given the same treatment, stark comparisons of who really are the monsters and who really are, good men. And, by the second episode, I felt exhausted, but like in a good way. And I thought it was going to be the finale already. And with only the second episode done, I was like, okay, what are we going to do now for episode 3? And it's just been an even better ride since then. What Lovecraft Country gives us is, we are treated with a very cohesive story done in, I would say, like singular focused genres, episode per episode. I think this is the strength because it's it's character driven, set in a well-defined genre, and everyone was just taking their time. How they were treated, how each episode was treated, we got to understand who the characters were, what were their motivations, how they were able to go through racism in their own way. And it's very different how black guys treated it, how black women were treated, how little black kids, girls too, were treated. And I was given a chance to understand all of that like 50 minutes at a time. By episode 3, we had Letitia dealing with haunted houses. Episode 4 gave us Indie Jones / Goonies / Night at the Museum type of show, and it was really like the most wholesome, heartfelt fun before Montrose kills a person and Atticus has to beat him up. But we'll talk about that in an episode per episode. But what was really cool is that we are given science fiction, we're given fantasy, we're given horror, and Jigabobo, even the haunted house episode also, disturbed me. But Jigabobo is an episode that, made me go to sleep with the lights on, and I haven't done that in a while, so it was really scary. But at the same time, like, above scary is frightening, because while all this is happening, the events are in the backdrop of what really happened to black people, a history that I myself have not been exposed to. And because it's real then and it's still real now, it's very terrifying. Earlier I said that this show was an awakening, and it still is, for a couple of reasons too. First is that every time I talk about these genres, horror, fantasy, science fiction, it's mainly a white dominated space, at least how I see it. So when I see Lovecraft Country, when I watch it, I feel genuinely happy that, black people are able to they're not just putting a foot in the space, but they're actually claiming it for their own. And I think that's really fun. And I think it's very fair considering, if I put myself in their place, as a Filipino, I see white people in my fantasies sometimes. Like if you go into, play Dungeons and Dragons or whatever, you imagine yourself first as white instead of who you really are. So I think having your identity in this space is a huge leap. It's also an awakening because, as the series progressed, you realize that the show isn't about Atticus anymore. I think Letty was the one who said it the best, where she said, "This isn't just about you, Tick," or something like that. And I thought like she was gonna look at the screen and give a wink at us or something, because that's how the rest of the show happened. To be honest, I feel like all the girls were kicking ass, and there was really strong female characters as well. We were shown, how Letty was able to deal with her own demons, Dee with her own demons, down to Jamie Chung, to Gia, who I think deserved like a better arc or a better ending basically. But all these girls were really getting things done right down to the finale. And so I guess this is the part where we have to talk about the ending, about the last episode. And I feel like it might be the least favorite episode that I have for the series, only because it's such a sudden shift to what we were used to. Earlier, I said, the strength of Lovecraft Country is character driven, taking its time, and it's all like this one genre after the next, but it's all focused. What happens with the finale is, of course, you literally grab the last pieces of the puzzle and just put them all because you know now where to put them. But I feel like all the answers are there. It's just that we had to watch it again, rewind them, pause them, had to run it even more slower just to see, the ads. Oh, okay, so that's how they close this loop and all that. So it took away the enjoyment, I feel, of the episode. But that's just me. You can, you let me know what you think if you enjoyed the finale also. But one thing's for sure, Michael K. Williams is gonna get the best supporting actor. Please give it to him. Just hand it to him now. The character is a little questionable, but the actor's performance is just every time. Actually, all of them, not one member is wasted. So a couple of fearless forecasts. I think we're gonna get a best ensemble for this. Wishful thinking, at least. We're gonna get best director, best writer, best screenplay, maybe. I'm just putting all my biases there. Overall, I think Lovecraft Country does deal with monsters. It's just not the kind that we're used to. If anything, the last awakening that this show has given me is that, even if this centers around American history, I feel like we could all have universal learnings from here. And I believe all lives matter. That's it. Thanks for watching.